So, ladies and gentlemen, we are calling together the world order of the.
Okay, I think you need to hit the restart over button.
How many have you had, Mark?
You want me to call it to order?
You call it to order, please, because
Okay.
this is the Cattywampus.
Okay. You tell me. You just point. You count.
3,
Yeah.
2.
As recording secretary of the Beer Brother Lodge of the Royal Order of the Burn Pot, I hereby call the meeting together with a roll call. Beer Brother Mark.
Here.
Beer Brother Brett.
Here.
Beer Brother Dan. Here. I hereby call it to order. Beer Brother Mark, would you lead us in the lighting of the burn pot?
Yes, this is our ceremonial lighting of the burn pot. Here we are. The first one. I can do this without burning my. Oh, son. God damn it.
Hey, this is a family beer tasting.
All right, here we go.
Okay. I will now light mine.
I can't feel my thumb right now, but other than that, everything's great.
And I will light mine as well. Mark, I recommend a longer lighter for you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to buy one for this meeting.
Uh-oh.
Oh, smells like burning flesh and candle in here.
Ooh, that's always good. Let's see. That was why I was late, is I was busy trying to fill this thing and having to wipe up all the oil. I spilled all over the kitchen.
Yeah, you wipe the fire.
Mrs. Dan came to the rescue. Okay, well, who's going to do the first beer?
Go ahead, guys.
Well, let's see. Mark, you did first last week, right?
Yep.
Okay, but Beer Brother Brett, I nominate you to go first.
I will do it right now. And the assignment this week was for our favorite go-to beers, I believe is what the assignment was.
That was?
My official favorite go-to beer is Drafty Kilt Scotch Ale from Monday Night Brewing out of Atlanta.
Yep.
Did not go wrong with this, in my opinion. It is one of my favorite beers I've ever had. And there's some variances that you can sometimes find. I was at a restaurant bar over in Lawrenceville. Well, it was probably around last Christmas time. And they actually had this beer with cinnamon in it and kind of a Christmas beer. And it just made it that much better. So tonight I'll be drinking out of a Homer Brewing Company glass from Homer, Alaska. Brought home with my luggage, probably wrapped in socks. Made it the whole way.
Dirty underwear, socks, whatever.
Whatever it takes to get it home, you know.
Yeah.
The pour.
The only thing would have been better if you drank a beer out of it when you're down on the spit.
That's right. So Scotch Ale, a little bit
Oh, that looks really good.
dark with a nice head there.
That's beautiful. Art.
It's a great smelling beer. I just
That is good beer.
My mouth is watering.
I don't know.
That is good beer.
Have a sip. You can smell the little Scotch smell to it. And it has a little bit of hop to it. Look, but super smooth beer.
That is a good beer.
Mm.
Oh.
Have you ever noticed when you get it on draft or you get it out of the bottle or the can? Well, I don't have it on bottle, but do you ever see a difference?
I can tell on draft. I think it's a little more, frothy, creamy when it's on draft. Mm-hmm. But just out of the can or the bottle. It used to be out of bottles. It's just a fabulous beer. You taste the Scotch, flavor, the ale, it's smooth. It's a nice carbonation. It's just a fantastic beer.
I've had it before. It's a wonderful beer. I usually have had it on tap though.
So Brett, last week you were given the beer that you were drinking. What was it, an 8 or 7.5 or an 8, or what do you think of this one?
It was like a 12 or something. It was pretty high last week. I don't remember. Yeah. This is 7.2.
No. We're talking about the score, not the.
What's your rating?
Not the alcohol.
I may have had a little pregame tonight, so I might be a little behind the score here. So, I mean, I got to put this as like a 9.95. I mean, it's not
great,
but it's like as close as I can get to perfect. The flavor, the smoothness, you can just drink them and enjoy it, and it's a good social beer. It's just a great beer.
Mm-hmm. It's easily accessible. You can get it in a lot of places, and it's a good standard beer.
since it's Atlanta, I don't know if it's strictly Southeast Georgia or Southeast United States. I don't know what range they have, but it's just a good beer. I'd like to.
Have you heard supposedly how Monday Night Brewing started?
No.
It was a Bible study project. It was a Bible study class that I guess they got a little off of turning water into wine. They decided to turn water into beer.
It works.
Beer. That's a killer beer, Brett.
Yeah.
Really.
So I'll tell you what. So you give it. You say it's a 9.999 sort of.
Yep.
You're right up there.
Yep. I'm putting this right as the top beer that I drink right now.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But I want to sit here and enjoy it and listen to you guys talk about your beers.
Okay. So who's up next there?
You want to go, Dan? I'll be at the very
Sure, I'll go. Let me reach into my cooler here. I wanted to get it good, nice and cold. So tonight I'm having, now this is kind of a twofer.
Yeah.
Because it's Mrs. Dan's favorite beer too. And so she went and bought this for me since I'm not allowed to leave the house and go to Publix without a face mask and a rubber suit and whatever.
John Travolta, boy in the bubble.
Breckenridge Brewery. And the thing that I regret was when we were out in Colorado a couple of years ago, we went to Avery, which you got to go to Avery if you go to, and then we went up and drank some Killian's at the Golden at the big brewery. As you were giving me crap when I was messaging you about it, saying, "Well, you're up there drinking big corporate beer." They were canning that day a whole lot of really cheap beer. What I can't remember that Breakstone or Silverstone or whatever. But so anyway, we did not make it over to Breckenridge. We had a lot of great beer in Colorado. Unfortunately, we did not make it there. So, and in honor of what would have been starting today with the ladies, I'm going to drink from my master's beer mug.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
And get my Swiss Army knife out here. Oh, don't use the can opener part. You got to use the bottle opener. But she discovered this about a year or two ago. And, it's so, dark. It's nice and dark, nice and brown. And it is, it's got that almost chocolate, it looks like it tastes. It really does.
Mm-hmm. That's a good beer.
And you can taste the vanilla. I mean, it's a porter. It's not super heavy. There's no bitterness to it. There's a little nutty to it.
There's vanilla.
But the vanilla and stuff makes up a lot of it. And I mean, and this, so it says roasted malts with notes of vanilla, and it's 5.4. And I really do regret. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my tasting hat on.
I'll void.
I know. I really, really, really do like this beer. I mean, how many beers can you actually sit down and enjoy with your wife?
Not many.
That doesn't happen very often.
So do you think she would drink that beer if you had a bottle of wine there and you had that beer there? Would she drink the wine still, or would she drink the beer?
Depends on. It all depends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
but
not.
When it comes to beer, though, that's her go-to.
Well, let's just say when the sun rose this morning, there was a 6-pack in the fridge. And this afternoon, we've been cleaning out the garage, and so she did a lot of work, and she was also cutting the hedges, and so she decided that she needed a beer. So,
yeah,
and then Dave-in-law, he had to have a beer too, so he went and got in my stash and drank one of my. I think one of the praline drinks or one of the praline brews, but I give this, I'm not going to give it a 10, but few beers earn a 10. Although Avery and Uncle Jacob and Tweak and stuff, yeah, Avery 9.9999.
Oh my god!
But this is this is always a consistent beer. Mm-hmm. It's nice and smooth, and it just
It's a national beer too. You can get that just kind of everywhere. You know, it's a
I got this at Publix.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in several other places. But, you know, I really do regret not being able to make it by the brewery when we were out there. So, okay, well, Beer Brother Mark, I yield the floor to you.
So, guys, I'm going to tell you what my beer, the go-to beer would be, but I never got out to get a go-to beer, but I'm going to have the next best thing here. But my go-to beer would be a Belhaven Scottish Ale. I've been drinking that since I lived in Savannah. The first time I ever tried it was in Savannah. And it's kind of like the Drafty Kilt. It's a smooth, delicious beer, consistent all the way across. They've come out with some new ones now, too, from what I remember. Dan, you had one. What is it? Oh, God. They've got one that's something a wee bit heavy or wee heavy or something like that.
Well, there's a couple people that have the wee heavies, but you're talking about Bell's.
Belhaven, yeah.
Yeah. Are you talking Belhaven or Bell's?
Belhaven.
Oh, the Belhaven. Yeah.
Belhaven Scottish Ale. It's been around for a long time. It's a good beer. So because I didn't get out to get anything today, the beer I'm going to be drinking is a barley wine tonight. And as you guys know, I'm a big friend of barley wines. Mm-hmm. This is called Lord of the Atlas. And this was highly recommended by the folks there at Wine World. So let's just see how this is. This is a 12%. So I might be turning a different color when it comes to my flesh tone in a few minutes after I've had a little of this. So
the light that you have shining on your face now, it will only improve it.
And I'm drinking in a traditional glass that you would use with a barley wine. Let's see what this looks like.
Don't forget to hold out your pinky.
Oh yeah. Getting the sound effect there?
Oh yeah.
You have to pee? Okay. So yeah, it's your traditional barley wine. It's kind of like the other night what you had, Brett. It's you can smell the alcohol right away. It's almost a little bit of a sweet maple syrup smell, kind of aroma to it. Very, very nice. It's got a little bite to it. Not real sharp, but a little bit of a bite. You can't probably see the color very well. It's not as dark as what y'all are drinking, but it's fairly cloudy and it's very opaque. But it's a lighter tone than what y'all are drinking. It almost looks like a brown ale that's cloudy.
Well, I can't even imagine having a mead or a barley wine. That's not mead. That's barley wine. Barley wine or a mead. If you filter it, you filtered all the flavor out.
Well, that's true. That is true. It's really good. It's got essence of raisin, a little bit in there. I'm trying to think what else is there. It's a very grainy kind of taste to it, almost like there's some oats and grain. You know, the best thing I can associate this with, and this is really not an insult, when I was a kid, my parents had horses, and they used to feed them this rich food called cinch. And anybody that knows horses will know what cinch is. Cinch has got molasses, it's got oats, it's got all kinds of grains in it, but you take a handful and it smells wonderful. Mm-hmm. Well, once in a while, I was a kid, you know.
You had to try it. You
get hungry. So you take a handful of the cinch and chew on it.
A little larger candy, never heard of it.
You know, it's a lot of fiber. But this has got, when I smell it and when I taste it, it makes me think of that molasses. It makes me think of that richness of grain, very wholesome feeling. And it's very high in gravity, so I can tell you again, in a few minutes I'll be, you know, having no problem here.
It's kind of neat that you're, you know, just a sip of a beer takes you to a time way back when. You know, and I think that's something that all of us have from time to time. There's something that, you know, triggers in a sip of a drink that, you know, that's what this is all about. It's about the experience and the bonding and the friendship. And, you know, I think this is really cool. That was a really neat story, Mark. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, well, thank you. You may think I'm a little nuts for eating, you know, cinch, but hey, it explains, I guess, a lot of things. So
there's a lot of other stories that aren't recorded that, you know, really tell the true you. So
we can talk about some other things we ate as kids later.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Well, no, there's some things when I go to a high school class reunion with some of the kids that, you know, when I played with in first and second grade, about some of the snacks we had at our house.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys? Okay, I got a question for you, unrelated to beer. Did you guys ever eat the dry dog food that your parents had?
We never had dogs.
We did, and we'd go and take a
Well,
look.
that was a story I wasn't going to tell, Mark.
Oh, there's some beers that I can actually relate that flavor to.
Yeah, I've had some dog
Magic
food.
Cat?
There you go.
Oh no.
Magic.
You people are cruel.
Oh, but anyways, I would rate this beer at probably, I've had other barley wines before, and I have to say I've had better barley wines. This is not bad. It's a real good beer. I'd probably give it an 8.5 to maybe.
Now, where's it out of?
God knows. Hold on.
His arms aren't long enough to see it.
New Zealand.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
That's a down under beer?
Yep, it's 8 Wired is the name of the brewery. The number
Right,
8.
I've heard that, but I didn't think they were out of New Zealand.
The number 8 and Wired. You look at the bottom here.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably read it better than you can.
Is it backwards for you guys or is it forward?
That's right.
Yeah.
New Zealand. Huh.
Cool.
So I like it. It's not bad. It'll be good.
Mine just says Atlanta.
You're close by. You're probably got the closest one here. Where's yours from, Dan?
Mine says Breckenridge. Or is mine Breckenridge?
It's right for us. It swaps it.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Anyway,
I can see
it's Breckenridge.
Doesn't Breckenridge have a beer called Avalanche? Or did at one point?
I don't know.
I think they do. One of my worst beer experiences was with the Breckenridge Avalanche. And I think it had gone bad, and I drank it, and I could feel the slug at the bottom go down. It came back out shortly. So that was a rough beer to drink.
So like on the side of the road on the way to Athens that day?
That was bad.
Story.
That left a lot on the side of the road that day.
Oh man,
it was nasty.
That was not drinking. That was just sick.
No, that was just you had the bug. You had the stomach bug. So, Brett, what would you pair your beer with?
I really think I'd do like steak and potatoes, or maybe like a rich pasta, something that's fulfilling. Because it's just it's a hearty beer with that slight hops to it, so it gives it a little brightness. But I think it needs to be a hearty meal. Something good and hearty to eat.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat that Brett's in with this beer, with a barley wine. Last week we talked about, I could see the beer that I had last week more as a dessert type beer. This to me would seem like it would be with a meal with some kind of red meat, probably. I don't see it with fish or with chicken or poultry of any type, but I see more of a meatloaf or a steak or a good hamburger, probably.
Yeah.
I can't see it with anything else other than that. Maybe chocolate cake would pair with that okay, but I think it's more of a heartier type deal. How about yours?
I'm going to be a little weird because it's on my mind, because we had Mexican tonight. We were trying to figure out, we were all so tired we didn't want to cook. Well, it came to it, said, Dan, what are you making for dinner tonight? So we were going to go to one of the local Chinese place, pick up, and they're closed because they said they can't get the stuff to make the food. And so we wound up going to El Alazan, which is over on Evans Lock. And we had that tonight. And I had a chicken, one of those creamy chicken Mexican dishes. And I think this would go really well with it. I think it would. And it would have cooled my mouth, because they also send along some hot sauce that they don't usually put on the table. And, oh my God, there was not enough to drink. I have to admit, I was drinking a little bit of wine. That kind of cut through it. So I had a pregame warm up, but
clean out the sinuses.
Oh, it cleaned out. It's going to probably burn coming out as well.
That would be a technical TMI.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hey, what as bad as his in the beginning when he burned his fingers?
Well,
I think this is good now. So so next week, I think we had discussed that we're going to try to find a way to to get some beers so that we can all try the same beer.
Yeah, next week we need to have the same beer.
Mhm.
So I will say that we're going to have a committee meeting during the week, and we'll figure out how to get the beers distributed without giving each other the coronavirus. And then we'll draw straws or something to see whose beer goes first.
Sounds good.
Okay.
How
So
about-
John, I guess until next week.
Work for me.
And you know what? I think I'm going to have another.
Is it time to blow out the candle?
Oh yes, we do need to. My little bonfire is not much of a.
Mine's
I don't think the wick. I don't think the wick has gotten strong enough yet. So.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Blow out your effing candles. Happy birthday.
Okay, so the Olympics is over again. Okay,
Stay safe this week.
you too.